Good afternoon, everyone. Bill DiOrio, speaking to you from an undisclosed location in North Boulder, as always. And I wanted to talk to you today for a few minutes about Initiative 310, which is the combined priority and ranked choice voting system that's being proposed as an initiative. And I just wanted to go over that with you and explain if it passes and then it's actually implemented, why I think it would be pretty much the end of politics as we know it in this state, and I'll explain why. Basically, what this initiative does is here it creates an all-candidate primary election for certain state and federal offices, which are most of them, where the top four candidates move on to the general election. And there is no, I'll get onto that later. And then after the top four candidates move on to the general election, then voters vote for those candidates, and they rank them in order from 1 to 4. And then after there's several rounds of voting, they call it instant runoff voting, where the final winner is selected or determined. So if you vote for this initiative, you'll establish the all-candidate primary for all voters, regardless of their political party, and those four people will advance to the general election, where voters will then vote for them by rank, and then the final winner will be determined after tabulating all the ranked choice votes. We had an election like this in Boulder, where the candidate for the mayoral race, and as you would imagine, the candidate who got the most votes on the first round did not end up winning that election. It went to one of the opponents. So if you vote no on the proposition, we'll continue the existing primary election system and the current method of selecting candidates. So I'll skip this part. Here are the offices for which this applies. U.S. Senator, U.S. Representative, Governor and Lieutenant Governor, Secretary of State, State Treasurer, State Attorney General, a member of the State Board of Education, the Regents for the University of Colorado, State Senator, and the office I'm interested in, State Rep. It will not apply to the office of U.S. President, district attorneys, or local government offices. Of course, Boulder has already used this for our mayoral election. So how does this system actually work? So under this proposition, all candidates who qualify appear on the same ballot, regardless of political party affiliation. And unaffiliated candidates collect signatures to qualify for the primary rather than the general election. Candidates from political parties still qualify for the primary by collecting signatures or receiving a party nomination. So currently, as a Republican, I was nominated by our county assembly, and I was placed. If there had been two, first I was placed in a primary ballot, but only for only people voting Republican or independents who chose the Republican ballot could vote on that. Now, I would, if I was nominated by the Republican Party, I'd be placed on the same ballot as every other candidate for that office. And so you can see already that, like in a state like Colorado, where the Republican Party is the minority, the chances of getting onto the final ballot suddenly went way down because if there's many candidates from the bigger parties, it's going to make it very hard for a minority candidate to make the final ballot. Then all voters, regardless of political party, receive the all-candidate primary ballot and choose a single candidate for each office in the primary election. For each office, the 4 candidates with the highest number of votes advance to the general election and appear on the ballot in a random order. Now, more than one candidate from the same political party may advance to the general election. So if there is if 4 candidates from let's say the Democratic Party wanted to get on the ballot for an office, and they got the top 4 votes, then there would be no Republicans or anyone else on the general election. It would only be the top 4 candidates, who, in my hypothetical case, could be all Democrat. So you can see where that's going. If there are 4 or fewer candidates for the office, then obviously all of them go on to the general election. So now ranked choice voting. Now, it took me a while to figure out ranked choice voting, how it actually works, and I've got a little example here I can show you. So you have the 4 vote candidates on the ballot, and each voter is given a ballot in which they're asked to rank the candidates in order, and they have here's a little table that shows how it would work. So you have 4 parties, 4 candidates, each listed by party affiliation, and then the voter then ranks. In this case, the voter ranked candidate C is their first choice, candidate D as their second choice, and candidate B as their third choice, and they had no opinion for the 4th choice. Okay. So that's a properly marked ballot. It's not like rocket science. I think people can figure it out. So, whoopsie. Now easy screen. So so if one candidate if they tabulate all the first place votes. If one candidate gets more than half of the first place votes on that first round, they win the election. Okay. If no candidate wins more than half of the first place votes, then the candidate with the fewest first place votes is eliminated. An additional round of counting is conducted. The votes for that last place candidate are dropped, and then the next highest ranked candidate on those votes is then distributed to the other candidates according to the ranking of the ballot from the last place candidate. So you see, the people who vote for the last place candidate, their ballots are actually then counted twice. First, there are first place ballots counted, and because that candidate got dropped off, then there's second place ballots. So if there's you could say that the voters for the fringiest candidate, you could say, actually then they get more weight in how the final tally works out. So let me I've got here is a little example I put together here for you. Now, this is different than the one the state used. I'm assuming that there is one Democrat candidate and 3 one Republican candidate and 3 Democrats running for an office. And the Republican is a very popular candidate, very strong candidate, but he still does not get, or she does not get, more than half of the votes on the first round. In this case, I'm saying, all right, there's 100 votes cast. Here's our Republican candidate, and the round 1 got 45 votes. And then the rest of the votes, the other 55 votes, were divided among the 3 Democrat candidates. So we got 2 with 20 and 1 with 15. Now, okay, so after the first round, candidate D with 15 votes, that candidate, those 15 votes then get redistributed. So you see, here's the runoff, and this shows you where these add up to 15, and this shows you where they go. So 2 went to candidate 2, the first Democrat. 3 went to candidate, the second Democrat, candidate C, and 10 went to candidate to the second Democrat, which is candidate. I guess that would be, well, it's the third candidate, it's candidate C. So at the end of the first runoff, in round 2, after we've done this redistribution, all right, the Democrat picked up 2 votes. I mean, the Republican picked up 2 votes, and he got 47 votes. The candidate 2, the first Democrat candidate, he picks up 3, so he goes from 20 to 23 votes, and the second candidate, second Democratic candidate, he picked up 10. And so he went. So he ends up at 30 votes. He went from 20 to 30. So, but still, nobody is over 50%. And so we have to do another round. And so all the votes now for these 23 votes for candidate B, or the first Democratic candidate, they then get distributed. All right. And now, of course, because the people who voted for this person are also Democrats, as you would expect, the vast majority of the second place ballots for this candidate go to the other Democrat. And so what I'm saying here is that, so let's say 2 of the votes from candidate B, or the first Democrat, let's assume those went to our Republican candidate, and 21 of them went to candidate for the second Democrat candidate, candidate C. And so at the end of runoff 2, we ended up with the Republican with 49 votes, and the second Democrat with 51 votes. So this just shows how this system will make it really impossible for a minority candidate, whether he's a Republican or a Green Party or a Constitutional Party. It makes it really hard for that candidate to win an election when he's in a field that has several other candidates of a like mind or a similar party, because the votes that went to those other candidates are most likely to be redistributed among the similar party candidates than going to the minority candidates. So that's why I say the imposition or the adoption of this ranked choice voting system would probably it'd be very difficult to imagine a minority party of any kind winning an election. So let's see. So I think we've explained that, and so we've already gone. They had their own little example, but mine's more pertinent. Now, under the law, the proposition will only take effect when at least 12 cities, municipalities, that meet various demographic qualifications. I don't know what those are. But 12 municipalities must use ranked choice voting, and the state must audit their elections just to verify that the system works or there's a way to actually implement this properly. So I know Boulder has ranked choice voting. I don't know how many other municipalities have also got ranked choice voting. So it probably would not take effect right away. And probably several years before you got enough municipalities using it to take effect. But eventually, I'm pretty sure it would, and I think that would be a major change. The arguments for the proposition, they say it gives all voters an equal opportunity to decide which candidates make the general ballot, which means that everybody votes in. For in this primary to get people on the general ballot, And yes, it gives everybody equal opportunity, but also means that the majority people in the majority party have a very, very strong disproportionate advantage in deciding who goes on to the general election. So I'm opposed to it. I agree it is more complex and expensive. I think some voters will screw up with the votes, and I think that it's always going to create a lot of confusion and doubt in the minds of the public as to what actually happened here. This magical runoff system where the minority, where it seems like a minority candidate always ends up winning the election against the old-fashioned way, where it's a plurality and the person with the most votes wins the election. So that's it. What I have to say about that, and I hope I would urge you to vote against this initiative. It's going to be on the ballot, and so I would urge you to vote against it. And yeah, that's what I have to say on that one. So thanks very much, and God bless you all.